Okay, so let's start with the bandeau. We're going to, same type of material, you want to work with a 4-way stretch, and you're just going to be measuring down about 4 inches on the fold, and your waist length minus the 4 inches across. These are my little weights I put on my material so that it slide off on me, and yeah, so just cut it out, and once you're done that, we're just going to unfold it and put the right sides together if both sides are different. So I like to have the right sides facing, and just start marking your seam that you're going to be stitching on, and of course pin it together. So pretty basic, just do your straight stitch and bring it back over for pressing. Now this is super important, guys. Pressing, I cannot, this is something you do not want to miss out on your project. So make sure you're pressing down each way. So first setting your stitches in flat end and then opening up. Now you see how it's bunched up like that, right? If you were not to press that and fold your bandeau in half, you're going to actually see that lump on the inside, and it just makes for a nice professional finish. So I'm using a pressing cloth here, if you're wondering. My iron is super hot, so it kind of protects my material. Actually, it does protect it from leaving any heat stains on it. So if you do have a hot iron, make sure you have something to protect your material. Now, see, that's nice and flat. Beautiful. Okay, so that's what you want to see right there. And when you're done that, you're just going to want to fold your bandeau around so it is the front facing flipped around so that we're going to actually stitch on the right side. So let's go back over here, and there's your bandeau. What we're going to do is make sure you match up your edging and draw on your stitching guide. So 1/2 inch or whatever you feel most comfortable with, and then flipping it inside out, because I like to stitch on the inside, like doing sleeves or that sort of thing. It's just keeping all the bulk of the material away from you so it keeps nice and flat. And now you're just going to pin all the way around. So when we're done that, you're going to stitch your bandeau and where it was pinned, and now we're going to fold out our skirt. Now the skirt, very straightforward. We just actually stitch down the sides where we cut out the moon shape. Like in the first tutorial when we cut out our skirt. Yeah, so just 2 simple straight stitch, and pressing, of course, the same as the bandeau, which is super important. Now we can match up the bandeau at the top, and normally what I like to do is find that one seam that we put the bandeau together with, and the seam I usually put on the back of my skirt. So I'm going to show you actually how I measure this so you can actually set your bandeau evenly for your waistline. So what I do is I actually grab the 2 side seams that I've stitched and I place them together, and then I just kind of fold out to where the middle point is. Make a little notch with my chalk, and then that chalk mark I'm actually going to match up with the back of my bandeau. Simple as that. And then I'm just going to fit it against the seam and pin it. Now I match those 2 areas up, and I'm going to now travel over to the front of my dress. So I'm going to find the midpoint again just by folding it in half, marking it again, and then doing the same, matching up my side seams, and then finding the midpoint again in the front, and just marking that with my chalk, and that's going to be my marker to line up for my skirt. So that just guarantees that my bandeau is going to be on evenly around the whole area. You're not going to find any bunching up on the side in areas. It's going to be nice and flat throughout around the entire skirt. So moving along, same thing with the side of the bandeau, finding the midpoint, and then just matching up your side seams from your skirt where you've stitched, and pin that right where you've marked it with the chalk. So this actually I do with everything if I'm sewing sleeves or a hoodie in or anything like that. So it just makes it so it's nice and even. So the same with the other side, just flip it around, find your midpoint, and then pin it together. You're going to find too now, once that's all pinned in, your material is going to lie nice and flat. So as long as you've measured everything properly and you've pinned it, in the 4 points properly, you shouldn't have any issues. And if you do have a little bit more bulging in between your pins, then just do the same technique from pin to pin and finding the midpoint until your material lays flat. So you just want to get it so it's even around, and this is the best way to do it. So now that you have that done, we're ready to stitch the inside. I'm just trimming off my little tails here, and bring that to your machine, and you're going to stitch that down 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch, your seam allowance. I like to serge it, so I'm going to actually go to my serger and put that together. So now that we have the bandeau and skirt together, we are going to do some more pressing because I love to press. So make sure you're pressing your seams. When you're pressing your seams, you're actually pre-shrinking the thread. So it's almost like pre-shrinking a t-shirt or that sort of thing. So it actually really sets in your stitch, and it's going to prolong the life of your stitching. So pressing is actually very, very important. So if you're not actually pressing every single seam that you're stitching, you're really kind of wasting your project. So and it looks so much nicer too at the end. So as you can tell too, once seeing it before and after pressing, it makes a huge difference. So I'm definitely always pressing my seams. So now that we're almost finished, you can leave your skirt just like this. I mean, this is a really simple, quick way to make, a skirt. Could take you just 1/2 hour to an hour. If you're very beginner, then, it might take you a bit longer. That's okay. It's still super cute, just plain, but we're going to go over to the next segment and decorate it with some trimming. So there you go.